up, y'all? Sorry for the shaky camera. I'm just using an iPad for this video where I'm in a tight space. Today we're going to be fixing what is apparently a pretty common problem on Dodge Darts. Now I'm talking the newer ones, like 2013 to 2016. More specifically, the manual transmissions. And so what this issue is the shift knob has a lot of just play, just lots of slop. And what causes that is there's a little bushing inside of here that's plastic that just wears out over time. My car specifically has, I believe, 168,000 miles on it. Let me just double check. This issue is normally seen at around 100 and, just 100,000 miles. It's been known to happen. We'll see if it'll show up, the mileage. Anyways, the mileage isn't super important. It's, I think, 168,320 something miles, somewhere around there. So yeah, that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to see what, we're going to open this up, take a look at it. I'll show you guys the shift tower. And maybe if y'all get lucky, I'll do a little bit of a video on this shift knob that I made. It's kind of cool. Yeah, anyways, so that's what today's video is going to be on. So to start off, we're going to be removing this trim piece around our shift knob. So I just gone ahead, took out the little rubber thingy from out of there. And this is actually pretty easy to remove. My car is a 2013. And it's the same for the 14s, 15s, 16s, all the other ones that they put in manual transmission. This trim piece comes out the same way. You literally just grab it and you pop it off. It's got these little snapping tabs that hold it in. You do want to be kind of gentle. They're not the strongest, but yep, you can just pull right up on that and they'll pop off. So I'm just going to go and I'm going to pull my shift boot up and over like that and let it sit. And I'll show you down here inside, if I can get the camera down in there. Mine is a little bit dirty, so ignore that. Let's see, here's a good, decent camera angle, I guess. So down here inside, this is a little tension spring, and then just right over here, there's a little plastic bushing that fits inside of there. There's this arm that comes off our shift lever, and it's got a ball that fits into the bushing's kind of shaped like a socket, and so it fits in there. And that basically, whenever you move your shift knob side to side, that bushing is what keeps that tight. And so you can tell there's not a really good camera angle, but you can kind of see there's just a lot of play in there. That bushing's super worn out, and so we're going to be fixing that. So here's why I decided to make this video, is because you cannot, no matter how hard you look, you're not going to be able to find that specific bushing. You have to replace the whole entire shift tower, according to Dodge. And so what I'm going to be attempting to do is I'm going to get that bushing out of there, and I'm going to make my own. I've got a 3D printer, and where this bushing is hard plastic, we're going to try PLA or ABS filament in this printer, and we're just going to make our own and see how that works for us. So the goal of this video is just to see if we can't tighten up that slop in our shifter assembly. Alrighty, so the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to take these 4 screws out so that we've got a little bit more room to play around here with our shifter. So I've gone ahead and I've got in my little tool set, I've got this really nice little screwdriver set. I got it from Harbor Freight. Let's see if we can get this to focus. Bought this bad boy from Harbor Freight. I think it was like $7. And I absolutely love it. It's a little ratcheting screwdriver. It's actually pretty well built. But that's what we're going to use. It's a 25, a Torx 25 is that screw. So we're going to go ahead and I may put the camera down just to make this a bit easier, but we're going to go through and we're just going to undo all those screws. So I'll turn the camera back on right after I get that done. Alright, y'all, so we are at the next part. So we got that all taken off, you know, we got that spring pulled off and out of the way. So next what we have to do is we have to remove the center console piece. We have to unfasten it from the body of the car so we can move it around and just have a little bit more access, because as you can see, I mean, there's not a ton of room down in there. So basically, here is what you do. So this whole entire panel right here that's got your temperature controls and whatnot, you're gonna pull on it. If you look in Pro Demand or other places, it's gonna tell you that there's a tool for it. But what I found actually works really well is you just grab right over here on this right side, just give it a nice firm tug, right? It just pops right out. And then what you can do is you just come over here to this other side, do the same thing. Pull on it a little bit, kind of just work it. It's pretty well built plastic. You're not going to break anything. And then you're going to come up here and just work your fingers along the top, and you're going to come over to about the switch, and you're going to pop it just enough so that this piece right here pops off. Now this isn't connected to anything, but you do want to still be a little bit careful. So once you get that to just pop out a little bit, right back in behind here, there's a screw. That is the only screw holding this this panel on that's got your temperature controls. So you're gonna undo that screw, and this whole thing will come out. There's some connectors on the back here, all the electrical stuff. You're gonna undo those connectors, super simple. And then that panel with your switch assembly just comes right out. So we're gonna do that real quick, and then I'll show you what's next. All right, so once you get your temperature control panel deal off, this is kind of what it looks like. You got your 3 connectors. You got the one for your, down there, that's for your cigarette lighter, and then these are for the backlighting and your temperature controls. So the next thing we're gonna do is actually a little bit more complicated. So what Pro Demand tells you to do is you're supposed to pull your parking brake up as high up as you can get it. I know some cars you can only get it up to like right there. My car is kind of loose, I can get it up a bit further, but you're gonna do that. And then you're gonna scoot both your passenger and driver's side seats as far forward as they go. So I'm gonna get out of the car real quick and do that. Give me just 1 second. All right, so we got those seats pretty far forward. I got them both as far forward as you can get them. And here is the reason why. Down here on the back, there's this little access panel. Mine's got some wires in there because I like to do really ghetto stuff. I've got a PA system that I wanted to mount the whole electronics module deal inside of there. So I've got those wires. They're really, really ghetto. But what you're gonna do is you're gonna take off these covers. There's one on both sides. You're gonna take them off, and then there's this bolt right here. I believe it's a 10 mil. You're gonna take those screws out. Okay, folks. So here's where we're at. I got the screws taken out on both sides of that, you know, that center console. And so hopefully the whole thing will just lift up. Right now is the moment of truth. Okay, so it looks like it does come free. The last thing that we've got to do, that at least the Pro Demand tells us, is there's these 2 screws. One right there and one right there. We got to take those out. And there's the Phillips head screw. Nothing complicated. So I'm gonna real quickly from the back seat see if we can get my, oh yeah, see, ratcheting screwdriver, best thing on the planet. Don't drop your screws or your screwdriver for that matter. So I'm gonna take those screws out, and then our center console just pulls back and away. I have to be a little bit careful because I don't want to undo my wiring that I've got here for my PA system. So what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and pull it back just enough that I can get that front end up and around the rest of my dash, while also, you know, I just want enough room that I can have better access to my shifter tower without having to mess up all my wiring and stuff down here. So that's my goal. So I'm going to get that pulled out of the way, and then we'll be right back with the video. Quick little update. If any of you guys have trouble trying to fit your parking brake lever out. Also, I did find that it was easier if I scooted the seats back all the way. It just gave you a bit more room. Where the center console kind of flares out and gets wider, these seats fit really close up against it. And I found if you scoot the seats back all the way, that gives you a ton more room. But I also found, and ignore the gross griminess because I'm going to be cleaning this car out a bit better. It wasn't detailed when I bought it. There's this little plastic piece here by your parking brake lever, and you just grab it right here, pull up firmly, straight up, it just pops right off. So that gives you a ton more room right here, and you're able to just pull your whole thing back and out. Okay, so I'm pulling this up and out. I'm going to need both hands, but I thought I'd show you this. There are these front panels right here. They just snap right into those 3 little holes right there, these tabs. So I went ahead and pulled those off, and then you can literally just grab your center console and just lift it right up and out. So I'm going to do that real quick. I've got to put down the camera to use both hands because it is kind of heavy with my PA system in there. But basically I'm just going to lift it up and set this off to the side, and then we'll be all set to go, and I'll show you how to get that shifter assembly taken apart and pull that bushing out. Alrighty folks, so here's kind of the best that we're going to get. Just where I've got all my wiring for my PA system and whatnot. I pulled that back end up. You kind of had to pull the front end forward and then tuck it just right down underneath there to hold it. And I've got it resting on my parking brake right there. Super ghetto. But here's kind of where we're at. So right down in here, that is the bushing that we're going to be replacing, that little white part. So if you needed to replace just your whole shift tower, this is where you'd go to do it. You've got a bolt there and one at the forward end, just right there. It's kind of tucked down in. And you basically, there's also one corresponding to it on the other side. So that's what you would pull off. You'd undo those 4 bolts and you disconnect your linkage down here, and then that whole shift tower will just pull out. I'm gonna give it a go and see if we can't pull this bushing out without messing with any of that. If not, we're gonna just pull the whole shifter assembly out to get that bushing out. I should be able to get it from right here though. It doesn't look like it's anything super complicated. So yeah, what I'm going to try and do is I'm gonna just kind of push out from this other side and see if we can't pull that out. We may end up having to, here on the shifter tower, there is a little, I can't think of what you call these, like a little snap clip kind of thing. If you pop that off, this whole entire thing will just slide out to the right. So we're gonna give that a go real quick, and if that doesn't work, then we're just gonna pull the shift tower out and see how that goes. Okay guys, so here's what I found to be the easiest way to get that bushing to where you can pull it off. I tried a bunch of different things and none of them were even close to working, and this was just so simple. So that little snap ring right here, just pull it off. You pull that snap ring off and then you can just literally take your fingers and just pry over, and this whole thing will slide over, and this little shifter bushing will just be right here chilling nice and loose, and then you can just kind of pry it off with your fingers. So this is the bushing. Let me get it out here in a better light. This is the bushing that we're going to be replacing. We're just going to 3D print our own and see how that goes. It looks super simple. So what we're going to do is we're going to go in. I use SolidWorks. That's what I use for all my modeling. We're going to go and grab we got a little set of calipers. We're going to measure it, make one. It's going to be super simple. And then we're going to come out here, we're going to clean this up a little bit, grease it up, and see how this works. We're going to make our own. So we're going to go in and do that. Alrighty, so we got this bushing, we took some measurements of it, and I basically just made this model here in SolidWorks. I still have to do a couple things, like I got to do these little relief cuts this bushing has, that it can flex around the ball on that shift lever. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to print it. I'll leave all the details for the print specs down in the comments, but that's basically what the next plan is. So I'm going to print it probably 200 microns. It's a decent print resolution. So I'm going to print it. I want it to be durable, but also be pretty high quality. So we're going to print it pretty good quality. But yeah, we will pick the video back up there. I'm not going to go too much into how to model in SolidWorks, because it took me like 5 months to learn how to do it, and I'm not going to try and cram that all into a 5-10 minute video for you guys. So yeah, we'll be right back once I've got it started on the printer. Alrighty guys, so we are back. Here is the bushing 3D printed. It's decent. Print quality probably could have been just a little bit better. We're mostly just going to see if it fits. So I'm going to go ahead and get that thrown on there and get it all put back together. Basically, to put it back together, we're just going to reverse exactly what we did to take it apart. Alrighty guys, so here's kind of where we are at now on things. I did get a new bushing made. It's kind of hard to see in there. It's really trashy. I also made a shim that fits down just underneath here. It's actually on the underside, so you can't really see it. Basically what I did was I just 3D printed a 1-inch kind of just like a little shim, just like a little flat washer. I did it, if I am remembering right, it was 0.02 inches thick. And I just 3D printed that, cut a slit in it so I could fit it around the shaft of our shift lever. And I put it underneath there. And basically what I'm hoping to get out of that is to also, I noticed that there was just a little bit of play in between this this retaining plate and our pivot point on the shifter. So hopefully that will eliminate a good amount of that. As you can tell, it's already a lot tighter. There's not really a whole lot of just moving going on in there. So we're gonna get it all put back together. It is dark out, so that's why I'm using this headlamp. So we're gonna get that put back together, and I'll do a quick little walk over once it's all back in there. Alrighty, so here's where we are at. We got everything all put back together, all cleaned up. You can't even tell we were in there. Anyways, here is the shift knob now. We put that, we got that bushing in there. We also put in the little, it's just kind of like a shim. Like I mentioned earlier, it's just like a little, really thin washer shaped kind of piece of plastic. And basically what that was kind of just like a little wear piece to kind of take up some of the slack that's in here. So now that we've gotten that all replaced, I mean, it really doesn't just flop around, and it's kind of nice. I mean, before I was having a really hard time going from first to second, and sometimes even getting it into first from a stop when you're just at a light. But it is it's a lot cleaner now. Before, going from first to second, I'd kind of have to fish around. I never really had any issues with the other gears. Still works absolutely phenomenal, you know, no issues going, I mean, reverse, first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. It's just a lot smoother. There's none of that slop. So I'm happy with it. We'll see how long that little wear bushing kind of deal lasts, but for now I'm happy with it. So anyways, thanks for watching. Also, before we go, I just want to mention I've got a buddy that he's got a YouTube channel. He does a lot of reviews on trucks, cars. He also does just like a lot of technical stuff, like fixing stuff, kind of like what I'm planning on doing with my channel. Go give him a follow. I will put his username, his account in the comments, but it is Puddle Jumper. Capital Puddle space capital JUMPER 68. That's his account. He does a lot of cool stuff, so make sure to give him a follow and subscribe. Yeah, that's basically it. Feel free in the comments to ask any questions you had. I'm sure there was some stuff that I missed, but yeah, don't have too much fun.